tools.
Jason on speaker.
Like they're in a meeting, you should be under the, in a meeting. Oh,
I'm under
first
the
go to-
meeting.
go to the meeting.
I'm in the meeting.
How are you?
Do I have to
Mark.
view the meeting details, or? This is the link I get when I go to the meeting.
Good.
Maybe it's because it's
I'm mad at all of their dad right now.
join the meeting.
Oh, man.
There it is. All right. So then you download it. All of it.
That's an exercise.
Really?
Okay, take a look. I got it moved, then now I can't get it.
I wonder where it's going to download it to.
Include attached PDFs, yes, the entire agenda. That's the only process.
Oh, now it's only 136 pages long.
It's an easy scroll.
What?
I just want to be on
Oh,
camera.
come on.
Up front, up
Stay right back here.
Which one are us closer to?
And we are live.
Oh, that's a whole lot. Kathleen, thank you. Lifesaver. That is much better.
You found a little error.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they on?
That's much better. Whew. Maybe just email it to us in a PDF. Skip forward, but go like-
Then you don't have.
I'm sorry, I didn't say that.
You said that.
Did I say that?
The problem is by the time you find it where you are in the 136 pages.
Exactly.
It'll have that
Downloaded.
saying, right? You never get caught up.
Oh, that's because I downloaded
There was a lot of minutes in this one.
So which one did you download?
Entire and download
all
it.
of it. Should have,
So go back into the meeting.
don't tell it to download the minutes and it won't be as long.
Oh. Okay, that's where it is.
Meeting details, meeting. And this is how I would do it. And then see this. And download.
I haven't downloaded off the new book yet.
Yes.
I need to do that tomorrow.
Kathleen, you were a lifesaver.
Well, I knew
That's
that,
amazing.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, and I looked at all this last night.
I know,
It
but
was,
I
it
mean,
didn't seem
because
like
I,
it was all
Oh,
over
I
the
know.
place. You had to go to
when they
extras
start
or
using
something.
the iPads, it's a lot easier to see, to roll through things.
Like the email and click on the link, and it was easier to pull everything up. Right.
So Mark, I would say after Thursday's meeting, I got some feedback from people that couldn't hear the building administrators, which is unfortunate because that was pretty incredible what they did. So should probably make sure we get everybody to come up with a microphone. Or
Have to remind.
can we get a traveling mic or something? I know we talked about it. So that we could hand it around instead of something
Probably
maybe
not
look
with
at.
COVID.
Well, yeah. Here, hand this around and everybody touch it, right?
Should ask them to stop, come up, and sit.
Come up and sit, because that was.
They got
really-
started and got on a roll.
Yeah,
Right.
I,
Well,
I
and
didn't
it
think about it
started getting
either.
conversational too.
which it was really good. I mean, it's too bad people couldn't have heard it, so.
The man, the myth, the legend.
We'll make it whale of that.
You can just push the microphone over.
I gotta work on my wife a little bit. She will love it once I get her there. I need to get her there.
We're gonna go ahead and call our meeting to order. If we can rise and say the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We can go ahead and get a roll call.
Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes.
Robin Klosterman.
Yes.
Brad Waldoff.
Yes.
Joe Winley.
Yes.
Jane Willenberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the recognition of visitors. We have Shannon Haldanini here from the ECTA. So if you want to go ahead and come on out.
And I apologize for reading off of my phone,
to see my classes all fogged up too. Okay. Good evening. First, let me thank you in advance for letting me speak tonight. I know you have tough decisions ahead of you and that you're probably feeling pressure from all sides regarding those decisions. I would also like to say that I appreciate the conversations that Mr. Doan and I have had so far. With that being said, I would like to speak for a group that has been largely left out of the conversation, and that's our educators. While at last week's board meeting, you brought the administration in to discuss the plan. And while the administration can provide you with how they envision the day progressing, as ECT president, I implore you to talk with our teachers and staff. It should not just be Mr. Doan and the administration making these tough decisions on their own. And it shouldn't just be me invited to the table. Many have not been in the classroom for quite a while, and some of you haven't been in the classroom at all. So why wouldn't we want the teachers involved in this conversation? As a member of the higher risk for severe illness club, my primary concern with returning is safety. But well over half of my members have indicated to me that contracting the virus and spreading it to their families is one of their greatest fears as well. Because of this, I could not sit safely in my home and watch you decide this without my members' concerns being heard. The fact of the matter is, there has been little collaboration with teachers and other support staff on this plan. We've been able to provide feedback, and trust me, we really appreciate that. But sitting down and planning out the year together hasn't happened. Meetings in which I thought my members would be sitting down with their administrators to hash out procedures were just little more than presentations of a proposed plans and many unanswered safety questions. And I understand that none of us know the answers. Mr. Doan and I have talked about students' attendance hours and teacher workday, but there's been no discussion of what was best before those proposals were presented. I have members who want to be back full-time, 5 days a week, and I have members who want full remote learning. But to the best of my knowledge, and I could be wrong, no one was asked for member input. My members saw the proposed plan at the same time as the public. I believe the safety and staff, the safety of staff and students is paramount. And if we are truly looking for solutions, why haven't we looked at alternative plans? We might have looked at half-day schedules where students would be sent home with their lunch to avoid removing masks and spreading droplets, or alternating school days that limited the number of students in the classroom to ensure social distancing and those lower bus numbers that we're looking for, or even complete e-learning for the first 9 weeks to assess the rising cases that we now see in Effingham, in the Effingham area. Now, I'm not suggesting that any of those are the right answer, but again, I haven't heard one of those conversations in any of the board meetings. I wanted to see a hearty debate last Wednesday, and all I saw was it has to be normal. In reality, school will not be normal, no matter if we're back in person or not. Safety dictates that it not be normal. I applaud us for following the face mask requirement, even though I know there are lots of concerns out there. However, face masks and hand washing and cleaning equipment is not enough. The CDC says that the highest risk of spreading disease comes with plans that look most like those schools pre-pandemic with full-size in-person classrooms and no social distancing. And let's be honest, this is essentially what is being proposed. I keep hearing the statement, social distancing to the greatest extent possible, when we know 20 to 30 kids in the classroom make social distancing all but impossible. If you have any doubts of my fear, I just want you to imagine for a minute that this room is a classroom. Now, this room is pretty big and it's bigger than a lot of our classrooms, but let's just say it is. Now add 20 to 25 students, some wearing masks properly, some not, or some wearing face shields, and of course, some probably wearing masks under their chin, as you've seen out in public sometimes. Some kids are closer than 3 feet because it was not feasible to social distance in this classroom. Now, you as a teacher, your students are busy talking, you're trying to teach the class, they're washing off the desk. But as you try to conduct business as usual, you also have to answer questions that are coming at you during a live stream of your class. Now for lunch, you have to remove your mask, talk and eat for 30 minutes, and then clean up your area very quickly before the next group of 50 kids comes in. This is what you're asking my teachers or my members to do 5 days a week for 5 hours each day. Put anyone with a high risk factor into that climate and you're rolling the dice. Is the district ready to take responsibility if and when a student or staff member contracts this illness due to lack of proper social distancing measures? Again, the safety of our students and staff should be paramount in any plan you decide. I know people are eager to get back to normal. My members want to get back to normal, and I want things to get back to normal. But when has opening up early, trying to inject normalcy into this situation ever worked in this crisis? We are seeing a rise in cases all over the country as we try to return to quote unquote normal. In fact, one school in Tennessee who opened last week already reported their first COVID case. We can't fight this pandemic with wishful thinking. New information about this virus and what it can do is discovered every day. While we want to be back, being able to effectively plan and protect our students and staff is dependent on what science tells us. We need to listen to what experts are saying. I believe that the plan that is being proposed will just hasten the closure of our school rather than provide the normalcy that is promoted. The health and safety of our students, staff, and their families is at stake, and anything less than providing the safest environment possible is unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon, for coming. Do we have anybody else?
No, we do not.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move on. We do have Mr. Fox on the phone with us to go over the financial reports.
Okay, for last month, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, for last month, we saw fund balances. The net fund balance was $25,557,771.31. Operating funds had a total of $17,352,134.88. And the health life safety funds made up $6,168,126.79. In revenues in the Ed Fund, the first local looks a little funny this month. It comes in as a negative $23,382.65. The reason for that is we actually received $41,325.35. However, we always take part of our corporate personal property replacement tax out of the Ed Fund and transfer it to Fund 50, which is the IRMRF fund, to help cover those expenses. We did that last month, and that's why you see that difference as a negative of $23,382.65. From the state, we received $587,847.23. And from federal, we received $355,229.55. Expenses over $5,000 are listed out separately in the report. And our recommendations this month would be to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $6,310.29. And then the payment of bills in the amount of $3,272,648.42. Of that, the HLS Health Life Safety Project made up $1,857,890.02. Are there any questions I can answer about the financial report?
Any questions? Okay. And hearing none, we would need the motion to approve the financial report to reimburse the interest account in the amount of $6,310.29 and the payment of bills in the amount of $3,272,648.42.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Kathleen. Roll call.
Angie Byers,
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winley,
Yes.
Jane Wellenberg, Kathleen Smith, yes, Steve Bone.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the consent agenda. In our packets, we had the minutes for our regular board meeting on June 22nd, a curriculum meeting on July 1st, a special board meeting on July 9th, curriculum on July 13th, and a special board meeting on July 22nd. We had a student teacher listing enclosed. Fundraisers was the EHS football. They're selling the Hearts discount cards. And the approval to post for public review, the policy update and changes that were enclosed. Do we have any questions on the consent agenda? If none, we just need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Motion Kathleen, second. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second Robin, roll call.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winley,
Yes.
Jane Wellenberg,
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes, Steve Bone,
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes. And we didn't have any correspondence.
No.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the new business, the approval of the SEPCO food cooperative bid.
Yes, Denise Anderson puts out the SEPCO bid every year. This year, she sent it out to U.S. Foods, Cisco Food Services, Gordon Food Service, MJ Keltner, and Cole Wholesale. Out of all those bids that were sent out, she only received a bid from Cole Wholesale. Cole has been our supplier to the SEPCO group the last several years. The bid came in at $3,098,571.21. So the recommendation from Denise, and I would second that, is to award that bid to Cole Wholesale.
Are there any questions on that? Okay, if not, just a motion to accept Cole's Wholesale SEPCO bid for the 2020-21 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Steve, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second Robin, roll call.
Jill Winley,
Yes.
Jane Wellenberg,
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes, Steve Bone,
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff.
Yes.
Go ahead and move on to the fuel bid.
Okay, we opened up fuel bids on Wednesday, July 8th, and we had two bidders that day. We had Effingham Equity and FS. In the bids, we had Effingham Equity as the low bidder. They came in with a bid of 5 cents over the Opus rack price, which would be the daily rack price. So we would recommend that we accept both the diesel and the gas bid from Effingham Equity at the 5 cents above rack price.
Any questions? Okay, just a motion to accept Equity's bid to provide Unit 40 for the fuel for the 2020-21 school year.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second Jill, roll call.
Jane Wellenberg,
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes, Steve Bone,
Yes.
Angie Byers,
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winley.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to the purchase of laptops. Is that something, Jason, are you wanting to, did you get the bid for it?
Yeah, are you gonna talk about that, Jason? You want me to?
Yeah, I can talk about it. I think you have the bid in front of you, though. In your package, you had a memo from me and a bid. However, what we were trying to do is there was a number of employees who were identified as not having a laptop. So they may not use one in their current position teaching in the classroom. However, when remote learning comes around, or they're trying to work with groups of students that way, they need a laptop. And so we were trying to outfit those individuals with laptops. And the original quote that was in your packet was for the laptops we've been buying that we've had students using. However, Mrs. Beck pointed out that for some of our employees who are needing these laptops, they are classroom teachers. And when we buy for classroom teachers, we buy a little bit higher level device that's equipped with a DVD and some different output ports, things like that, so that we can communicate to smart boards flat panel TVs, whatever it may be. So that's why you're going to see a different quote Mr. Doan has for a more expensive laptop. Now, we are in the process of vetting our list of teachers who need it, and we want to make sure that we get them the device they need. But if they don't need the more advanced device, then we will probably go with the device that students use. So we're still working on that, trying to drive that cost down. But the quote that Mr. Doan has that is closer to $50,000 is more accurate than what you had in your packet originally.
Actually, we're looking at about 55 laptops at about $888 a piece is what the bid is. So that's going to be $48,840. If we can get them for less than that, we will. But that's what the cost would be.
I have a question on this listing of who doesn't have a laptop or who we would be getting the laptops for. That last column, other needs not addressed already, that shows the library clerks and the secretaries. So we're not getting, I mean, I don't know that a library clerk for remote learning would need one, but did our secretaries work from home?
Some.
I mean, because if we are asking them to work remotely, then I think we should be providing them with a laptop.
Absolutely.
I think Jody Weymouth, I see she's on this list. I think she worked from home, the guidance secretary. So I just think if we're asking them to work remotely,
right,
we should be getting them a laptop.
Right. And that's one thing we wanted to look at. And our secretaries did work from home. But we were trying to decide what device they needed. Did they need the more advanced, more expensive device with DVD and everything, or could they get by with the device we've been purchasing for students? And so that's still what we need to work through so we can get those ordered this week.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure we were covering those people too.
Yes.
Is there any other questions on the laptop purchase?
Do we think we can receive these in time to get them ready and loaded before the start of school in the event of a start?
Did you hear that, Jason?
Start remote?
Yeah, I would have to say most likely not. We are looking at on this device, which is a more advanced device, so it's not being purchased as heavily. You're looking at 4 to 5 weeks turnaround time to get those in. If we look at it, when we were looking at cheaper devices earlier, cheaper devices are now looking at 8 to 10 weeks. So I would say at earliest 5 weeks to get these devices in. That's why we need to get them ordered this week if at all possible.
Right. Okay.
We would need a motion to approve then the technology purchase for staff at a cost of up to $48,840.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Kathleen,
I can second it.
second by Brad. Roll call.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone,
Yes.
Angie Byers,
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winley,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg.
Yes.
Go ahead and move on to the ProMed barriers.
Okay, I talked a little bit at the special board meeting about Stevens Industries coming through with these sneeze guards / tabletop barriers. And we were going to try to make those ourselves. However, what Stevens came up with, they could actually make them at the same price or cheaper than what we could produce them ourselves. And it was a higher quality material. When we bought the plexiglass, it was going to be an eighth inch thick, where this is about 3/8 inch. So it's a much higher quality device. So went to all the principals, walked schools, they walked classrooms, measured tables, talked to staff, and we came up with the list that's in front of you now. You see that we've looked at every kind of style they have, from hanging from the ceiling to different sizes of stand-up to the tabletop barriers to be used when they have multiple students sitting around a table to each have their own area, enclosed area. To order these, we went ahead and put an order in. However, we can cancel out if the board feels strongly about it. It comes out to $20,799.66. And that is, I didn't even add up how many different pieces we have here, but probably over 150 different pieces there.
And is this for cover all buildings?
Yes, this is for all of our buildings.
I guess I'm surprised it's not more.
I was just thinking the quantity should be larger, I would think, but I guess you did a walkthrough on each building, right, Jason? That's what you said?
Yeah, we did a walkthrough. Each principal went room by room and looked at every classroom, measured tables, and really gave us good feedback on it. Todd Taylor and I also walked the buildings and looked at serving lines and lunch areas, the buildings that will actually have kids go through serving lines. We looked at how we're going to protect the students and the cooks both there. And so we really tried to do due diligence in all the buildings.
They look really nice from the pictures. So, I mean, I think that's going to be,
They did.
it's very impressive what they're able to come up with in a short period of time also. So.
I'm surprised we didn't get any of the student barriers. Was that something the principals didn't want at all, or do you remember which one?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that. all the
I
way.
said I was kind of surprised that we didn't get any of the student barriers. Those are the ones that, in the picture anyway, kind of go between, looks like the older students' desks.
Yeah, that did. That was one of those things at the high school and the junior high. We felt like we could spread the desk out enough that there would be the distance that was needed, and that just wasn't something they looked at. And it will still be available. I just won't guarantee we can have it by August 12th, which is why we need to get the order in for these.
I guess I just know, well, just as Shannon was saying, I know one of their big concerns is the social distancing in the classrooms. And that's when I saw that, I thought, wow, that's a pretty good aid for that. But then I saw we didn't buy any of them. So I was just curious.
So those classrooms like that have tables, have we replaced all those then with desks or?
Jason, did you hear that?
Yeah, no. As far my understanding is, no, we have not. And they're putting just 2 students at the table, one at towards each end of that table.
We can keep looking at that this was the order we had to get in for
Right.
August 12th. It's not something we
Okay.
couldn't look at further and go back and add more if we needed to.
Right. Like I said, I was just surprised at the low numbers.
Yeah.
I assumed we would probably need more than that.
And maybe we will, once we get these set up.
Okay, are there any other questions with that? Okay, if not, we'd need a motion to approve the purchase of the ProMed guards at a total cost of $20,799.66.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Robin. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Steve. Roll call.
Steve Bone,
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winling,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg,
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes.
Going on to the review of closed session minutes. So twice a year, closed session minutes are reviewed to determine whether they should remain closed. It is recommended that these minutes remain closed. In addition, approval of the destruction of closed session audio recordings prior to January 2019, which is 18 months, is requested. So we would need a motion to keep the following closed session minutes closed: January 7th and 28th of 2019, February 4th, 20th, and 25th of 2019, March 11th and 25th of 2019, April 8th, 6th, 25th, and 29th of 2019, May 20th and 21st of 2019, June 4th, 11th, and 24th of 2019, and destroy electronic recordings prior to January of 2019. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Brad. Do we have a second? Second that. Can we get a roll call?
Angie Byers,
Yes.
Robin Klosterman,
Yes.
Brad Waldoff,
Yes.
Jill Winling,
Yes.
Jane Willenberg,
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone,
Yes.
Can we have on here a 1% sales tax discussion?
Yeah, had a couple of discussions with, about the 1% sales tax. The district's tried that twice. The county, excuse me, not just the district, but the county has tried for a 1% sales tax twice. In discussions with Steve, he asked about the deadline, because he's been asked. The deadline has to be 79 days prior to the election, whether it be a spring or fall election. So if you look back, it's August
it falls always on a Saturday or Sunday, so it'll be August 17th, I believe is the date. So in talking with Steve, asked that we put it on here to just talk about it, see where the feeling is. We haven't had that discussion as a board, but I guess we'd open it up or let Steve, if you have any comments in regards to that. Obviously, does everybody, I'm assuming there's a lot of background, everybody knows about the 1%. So in our county, that would, years ago, it was going to be about, again, now sales tax is down, so it probably wouldn't be as much. But we're looking at around $2.4 million for the district. And in the past, the board has mentioned doing away, because you can use those funds to pay for bonds. So all the bonds that were sold a year and a half ago, that amount of money would be taken off the tax roll. Well, that's up to the board. That would be an option for the board to use those funds for that. So, Steve, I guess any comments?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I've been approached by city business people, county business people, all of those people who reached out to me, and again, I can only speak for myself, I'm not speaking for the board, is that the 1% sales tax would greatly enhance the community, enhance the school-led district. Boy, I hate paying taxes, but I also enjoy the paying taxes, seeing the benefit from where my tax money goes. I get it. I understand it. I pay, taxes just like everybody else does. I don't like to, but it's life. It's fact. These business leaders who have contacted me have actually reached out to other school districts, have actually spoke with superintendents, and every school district that has passed, it has been a huge burden lifted upon the school districts, and also enhanced the school districts. Every district has stated that, as well as our schools within our the district here would also greatly benefit. The numbers don't lie. Would I rather pay an extra 50 cents on the $50 the purchase to to pay less property taxes? Absolutely, every day. And I know that tax money has to be used for the building maintenance. It's not used for the salaries, administration, or anything like that. And I think that's the bad concept that people have gotten. Is it okay? We're gonna to pass this 1%. Well, then all the money's going to go to administration. It's going to go, no. People just really need to educate themselves and then make a personal, the decision upon that vote. But for me and everybody I spoke with, every district that has passed it's been a huge burden lifted on the school, the district. So that's just my the stand on it anyway, personally.
Anybody else have anything they wanted to add with that? I mean, it's just something for discussion, and we have until it looks like the 17th of August. Is that correct?
Right.
To
pass a resolution.
Will we meet again
We
before then?
have to have a special meeting. I guess one of the, I've had conversations with other districts in the county. Everyone has supported that in the past. Majority of the county schools have. So I don't know if that's changed or not, but I could reach out to the other county schools and talk to them as well. I think I've had individual conversations with board members from other districts. The way this gets on the ballot, if the district moves forward, or is 51%, districts that have 51% of the county school students. Okay, because there are some districts in our county that their students live in a different county. So 99, well, 100, nearly 100% of our 40 students live in the county. So we used to have 50, right at 50 to 51%. I'd have to redo the numbers, but it would make districts with at least 51% have to approve the resolution before it can get on the ballot. So that would be us, this district, and then probably one more. But most everybody usually has a vote on that, on whether to put it on there or not. And it's a question as it goes on. And we would turn it over to the regional office if the just move forward, and the regional office would certify that 51% of the students in the county, those districts approved the resolution, sends it on to the county clerk, and then gets put onto the ballot for, this would be November, the November ballot. The next election is next, is it April 3rd? In the spring, which is another, so it usually falls back 79 days, whatever that is, usually around December.
I personally have always favored the 1% tax, but I know the word tax scares some people. I also know right now, it seems because of the time being a crazy time, I'm not sure it's a great time to do that, but I also know that November is the presidential election, so there'll be a lot more people going to the polls. So it would be a bigger voice, whereas in some of these past elections, it's been, at an election that has a much smaller draw of the people voting. So I don't know if that would make a difference or not, but I certainly think it's worth pursuing with the other districts to see if they're, interested in doing this again. If not in November, because of the presidential election, I would think November would be ideal, but because of the COVID, then it's kind of a, I don't know.
Well, to me, the income source of a school district is taxes, unfortunately. That's where we get our money. And if we could spread the message that our tax is not just a tax, but an investment in our schools, maybe it could be sold a little bit better to the public. It's a sad reality that that's the only way that we're funded. So if the people are confident in our schools and confident in our leadership, I think that they would be more willing to support us with a sharing of our taxes. It's not just our property owners that are going to be funding our schools, but it's every person that travels through our community that's funding our schools. And when we have a good outward appearance with our buildings, that is also helpful. So I really think that we should try, maybe if the third time's a charm.
Right. I've always been a little, I don't know, surprised or baffled because I've never felt like in Effingham there was a concerted effort to promote, and educate before the voting took place. I don't know, maybe that was just my perception and it wasn't accurate, but I just didn't feel like there was a concerted campaign on maybe the district's part to promote it.
Well, I think
Is
you have
there-
to, there's certain limitations to a school
But
district.
that was what I was wondering.
Yeah, there are, obviously what the district can do is provide information, but you cannot spend any tax funds to support the effort.
Okay.
Okay, so it severely limits what a school district can do. That's the law. So we've tried to, in the past, do what the law allows us to do, which is very limited. And the last time we did have a group, a secondary group that took the ball and ran with it a little bit. And off the top of my head, I can't remember what the percentages were, but I think it was within 10. Yeah. So 10%. So, it was much closer. And again, I think it's a key in regards to what the question is, what's the district going to do with the funds? That's what everybody wants to know. And so, when you put out there that back previously, because our tax amounts have changed and have received this coming years, what that would be, what does that bond cost us in a tax rate, right? In the past, it was almost 32 cents. So what the district had said was, if this passes, we're going to use those funds to pay those bonds. What that means, 32 cents right off the top of the tax rate. So a tax rate of 360 minus 32, you can see right there, if you're a property owner, it's a significant drop. So then the question comes up, well, who said, are you going to do that every year? Is it going to continue? Those are the questions that came. And so, my response was, look, for 15 years or longer, the district's had one of the lowest tax rates in Southern Illinois and will continue to do that. This would make it even lower property tax rate, right? And you talk about your total, I'm just talking about what the school district part of the tax rate. So, I think we're at 360 this past year. If you drop it, I don't think it's 32 now because the EAV's gone up. But if you drop it 20 or 25 cents, now you're down to 330 something. So all of that can be looked at, and that information can be shared, and what the impact was, and then the district, if moving forward, the board I would hope, make a decision. Number one, whether to do it. Number two, what to do with the funds if it passes. And that's what I think. And then some people aren't going to vote for it.
Right.
But all this work that we've done from the district's perspective in the last 3 years at the high school and the junior high would all be paid for. And we still have we got South Side that has to be addressed. And we have a roof down at Central. And we have a big parking lot at the junior high that's fallen apart. It's going to be almost a 7-figure issue. So there are needs there. So anyway, it's kind of a little bit of the background on the 1%. What I'll do is I'll reach out to the other districts and see what their interest is, and then kind of report back to the board. And then if we want to, board wants to call a special meeting to discuss and make a decision, then we can do that.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on to the opportunity for sharing by the board. Anybody have anything they wanted to share?
This isn't really anything that I've gone to or done like we usually share, but one of the things that I'm sure is not unique for me, and probably applies to many of the rest of you, is I've been contacted by a lot of concerned parents and grandparents and community people about going back to school and the plan, and just concerned for the safety of all the teachers and students. And I just I want to thank them for reaching out, because I think it's important. I know there's concern. We all have concern too. And hopefully together we can just come up with the safest plan possible for all of our people. But I do want to thank those people for letting us know their thoughts.
Anyone else? Okay. If none, we would need a motion to enter into closed session for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district, discussion of minutes of meetings lawfully closed, whether for purposes of approval by the body of the minutes or semi-annual review of the minutes as mandated by section 2.06, and collective negotiating matters between the district and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
I'll make that motion.
Motion Kathleen. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jill, roll call.
Robin Klosterman.
Yes.
Brad Waldo.
Yes.
Jill Winley.
Yes.
Jane Willenberg.
Yes.
Kathleen Smith, yes. Steve Bone.
Yes.
Angie Byers.
Yes.
Thank you.